Hi, welcome to Film Stash. My name is Douglas Campbell, and today we're going to be talking about the original 1979 Mad Max, starring Mel Gibson. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I could do this the whole review, but I can't do the Australian accent the whole time. It's terrible. Okay, I also can't do the jacket either. It's too much. It's too hot to look this cool. Alright, so this video is going to be the first of 3 parts. This video is going to cover the original Mad Max, with Mad Max Fury Road being covered next week, before we finally lead up to Furiosa. In Australia's not too distant future, oil is nearly depleted, leaving Australia and the rest of the world in a near societal collapse. Bikers are running rampant across town, causing anarchy. And it is up to Max, a police officer played by Mel Gibson, to keep his sanity intact and to keep his family safe in times of crisis. I'm sorry, I went in with an open mind, I saw Fury Road, and I thought I was really gonna like this. Maybe I set my expectations too high, or the origins of the series was different than I thought it was gonna be, but I didn't have as great a time with this movie. I don't want to be completely negative though. There's several things that I liked about the movie. One of the things being that for essentially an independent budget film like this, the budget was quite low. I think it was around like $400,000 to $500,000 in Australian dollars, but the car crashes, all the stunts, what they were able to do was honestly really impressive. The film, with those stunts in mind, there are tons of weird choices throughout it that give it that unique bit of flavor. Like, for example, with some bikers, whenever there's a death scene that's about to occur, their eyes will just, randomly burst in, these close-up shots. And it's just so weird, and it kind of comes out of nowhere. Honestly, it was kind of hilarious. It gave it its own style. Although the story itself is incredibly predictable, I think that Mel Gibson's leading performance, whenever he actually gets more involved with the story, I think he gives a great performance of someone with an inner struggle, trying to keep himself together from this world that's just falling apart around him. Now, you can see it when he's, handling his time with his family, how he's dealing with his coworkers, when he tries to quit the force. You could just see it. And then whenever he does tip over the edge, he sells it. He really sells him finally going crazy. And then when it comes to him getting his ultimate revenge, it's quite satisfying to see him get that revenge. When it comes to the villains of the movie, Toe Cutter and his gang of bikers, they are intimidating. But they're also super cheesy at the same time, which works for the tone that the film has set up, where you take it seriously, but also not too seriously. Several moments in the film where you do feel threatened by these guys, they will mess you up. But then there's also moments in the film where something will happen. They'll do this thing or two every once in a while, and it will just kind of pull you back out of it, and it's kind of odd to see, but they can still go on being intimidating the following scene. Not sure whether this would go in the positives or the mixed aspect, but when it comes to this type of dystopian world that's displayed on film, I'm not sure if it's really for a budgetary reason, but how they display it, it's a lot tamer than you would typically see in any type of film where society is collapsing in on itself. And I think it's a nice change of flavor, especially with where the films end up later, believe me. It's different. While it's apparent how these bikers are contributing to the overall degradation of society, with the film and how it presents how things are falling apart, it doesn't feel like it's a worldwide collapse. It feels more like it's just regional to Australia, which could be a problem within itself, because from what I've seen in the later films like Fury Road, I don't see how the events of this film could lead on to those eventual films and even Furiosa down the road. Maybe the sequels do fill in the gaps. For now, it's just kind of odd, and I don't see it realistically contributing to that. When it comes to the action sequences themselves, they are pretty well done for the budget and the fact that it seems like it's shot guerrilla style. But there are, kind of like with some of the action sequences earlier on that I mentioned, there are unique choices that make it stand out. There are other choices that kind of seem a bit odd, and it's because like they wanted it to seem faster or quicker or more intense. Like sometimes it'll just be like a car's like chasing up near another car, but then they'll speed up the footage just so it seems like it caught up to the other car quicker. And it's a little silly, and I'm not entirely sure I dig that. But if it happened once, it would have been okay with me. But it happens a couple times, and it just, to me, I know the film thrives on being goofy for its time, but it's too goofy. It takes me out of it a little bit. While this might have been extremely thrilling for the time, I feel like the pacing of this film, it can be uneven because it starts off with a bang, and then it kind of slows down, and then it kind of stays slow down for a little while, picking up here and there, but then it just ends with a bang as well. The pacing, I think it's a little too slow for me, and I think for even some modern audiences to truly appreciate what it was doing back in the day. Oh, do you know what that means? That means it's time for Intermission! Oh, thanks. That was weird. Today's popcorn is Smart Food Doritos Nacho Cheese Popcorn. And I'm hoping with this that it's going to be as cheesy as this movie is. Well, let's see how it tastes then. You definitely could see the little bit of the cheese dust on my fingies there, but very good. You do get a little bit of a hint of the Doritos, but it's not that Doritos-y to me. Like a standard cheesy popcorn, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. That's not bad. I wouldn't mind eating this again. Film itself, unfortunately, it's very, very hollow. And one of those contributing things, I think, as to why it's so hollow, I think it's just Max and his role in the story. For the world and its depiction of everything collapsing, it does take some precedence, even though it does feel very regional. But he doesn't feel that involved in his own story. Even though the movie itself is called Mad Max, he does feel like he does take a bit of a back seat. Which is strange considering that a good chunk of the middle, which is like the slowest pace of the whole thing, it's dedicated to him spending a little bit of time with his family. Just the depiction of the whole family unit, they do try to add little quirks to make it seem more human, but it also just comes off very hollow, which just makes the thing just feel kind of to me. I just really wish that there was more time with Max. Just kind of being on the force and just kind of being out on patrol instead of just the usual crazy stuff. Because while that crazy stuff is what I want, if you're going to get me to be super invested in Max, I feel like he needs to be a little bit more in the front seat versus the crazies just kind of running around and overtaking everything. Although it adds to the atmosphere, I just feel like the screaming and the shouting and the yelling from the bikers, it adds to the chaos that surrounds this world, and it's great for that. But I feel like sometimes it just goes a little too bit overboard to where at first it's fine, but I just get annoyed after a while, and I'm thinking, oh my god, please let there be a little bit of quiet. I feel like it's a film where I understand the legacy and what it contributed to like both action films and apocalyptic films, but in the end, unfortunately, it didn't connect with me. Now, maybe I set the bar a little too high because I have seen Mad Max Fury Road first, and that one just knocked me out of my socks when I saw it. But in the end, this was just kind of different, and maybe if I go in with a different mindset years from now watching this, my opinion could change, but I'd give it a 5 out of 10. Since we're talking about societal collapse and apocalyptic proportions, for this week's recommendation, I actually would like to recommend to you a 70s film called The Omega Man. Starring Charlton Heston, this is the second adaptation of I Am Legend. Most people know the Will Smith one, but this one was done a bit earlier. Very cheesy, there are no vampires or zombies. It's kind of like these weird mutants that sort of take over the world after a biological war changes everything. It would be appropriate considering what the subject of Mad Max is. It's kind of got the same cheesiness, but it's fun. Well, that's all the time we have for today here at Film Stash. My name is Douglas Campbell, and if you excuse me, I gotta add to the stash.